Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today I bring you a makeup tutorial. It's been a while, okay? It's been a while since my last makeup tutorial, and since the holidays are coming up, I really wanted to sit down and film a look using some of my most favorite makeup products. This is the look that I came up with for today. Super simple to recreate, and it also has all of your festive colors, right? You have the gold along the lid, which of course you cannot skip out on the gold. And of course I have the red, the traditional, not traditional red lip, but a red lip nonetheless. I didn't want to do a traditional red lip. I wanted to do something a bit deeper so that the look just looks a bit more dramatic and more glam. Anyway, let's get right into it. So let's get started. We're going to start off with the brows. That's the way I always start off my looks, and then we move on to the eyes, and then we finish off with the face. I like doing the eyes or around the eyes first because in case I mess up, I don't have to worry about it. It's totally fine. I can just wipe it off and start again, or if there's any fallout, it's not going to affect my base. So I'm going to start off with these two products for the brows. This is the Dream Brow from Wonder Skin, and this one here is the Lift and Snatch pen from NYX. I really love these two together. This one will last, okay? If you're going to a holiday party, if you're doing anything for a long period of time, or let's say you're going to be really hot because there's a lot of people around, stuff like that, this brow gel serum has you covered. It completely stays on the brows. It doesn't go anywhere. So first I go in with the Dream Brow. I always go back with the spoolie just to blend. And after I'm done with the Dream Brow product, I just go back in with the Lift and Snatch pen. And this is just gonna help to not only create those hair-like strokes, but also help define the brow just a little bit more. Now that we're done with brows, let's get started on the eyes. I'm gonna prep them using my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This one is the anti-aging one. It doesn't have a tint or anything. I really love the way that it primes the eyes though. It's not too sticky, it doesn't feel dry, it just does what it says it's gonna do, and that's just prime the lids before going in with any of our eyeshadows. Now for today's eye look, we're working with the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I really love all of the different shades of gold that this palette has, as well as all of the different neutral, like warm tone matte shades. So I'm starting off with the diffused blend brush from Sigma Beauty. This is the E24. It is nice and fluffy, perfect for blending and applying any kind of an eyeshadow. So I'm going to start off with Suntan. Just packing my brush with that. And I'm simply going to place this here along the outer V, just stamping it onto the eye, and then blending in circular windshield wiping motions. When it comes to blending, the lighter your hand is, the better it's going to look and the easier that it is going to blend. Eyeshadows, that is. So always keep light pressure on your brush as you're moving back and forth, and you'll be good to go. And I'm having a hard time deciding on what gold shade from this palette I actually want to use. I don't want this to be too orange. I want it to be more of that like traditional yellow gold for the holidays. So I think what I'm actually going to do is take my mini Glam palette, also from Natasha Denona. She's got this really beautiful like true gold shade in this little palette. This one is in the shade Golden Flesh, and let me just give you a comparison. So that is what Golden Flesh looks like. See more of that like traditional gold that I'm talking about. The goldest shade in this bronze eyeshadow palette is, I would say, this one or this one. Everything else has more of like that red tone to it. So I'm going to take both and just grab them with my fingers so that you can see the three golds that I'm talking about all side by side. So these two are from the palette, and this one in the middle is from the mini Glam. I think I'm going to stick with the center shade. Although the other two shades are really beautiful as well, I just want something that's not as intense with the yellow. So I'm going to take Golden Flesh from the mini Glam palette, just grabbing it with my finger and placing it onto the inner corner of the mobile lid area. And I'm dragging this all the way up to the crease. So here where your orbital bone ends, that is your crease, and that's what I'm looking for. And I just kind of press up against it, and it all just blends all on its own practically. So now that we're on this little palette instead of this palette, I'm going to continue to work with this one. So I'm taking the deepest shade from this palette. This is called Seed. I'm going to add this to the outer V, just to deepen this outer V and dragging that up to the crease. Now, typically, you guys know I really don't do liquid liner anymore because for one, it's too time consuming, and for two, it's too time consuming. But since this is a holiday look, I want it to be like super glam, a little bit more done up than what I would typically do, which is why we are going in with this Kaja wing stamp. This makes the wing liner so much easier. So this has a right side and a left side, and each side comes with the according stamp. So we'll start off with the right side, like that. Now let's go in for the left side. And there's the left side. And so now all I have to do is just connect them and fill them in. Now that we are done along the top, we are also going to tightline along the bottom. And I do that with the same liquid liner. I just hold it underneath and press it. So moving on to lashes, today I'm actually going to wear false lashes, but the way that I wear them, the way that I incorporate them into my looks lately and for a while now is only applying half of a band. I don't really love to do the full band because for one, I don't have to deal with any kind of lifting, which for me used to always happen here along the inner corner whenever I would place a full band. For whatever reason, my eyes just loved getting really itchy and watery on those days, especially here along the inner corner. So instead, I work with half a band. I just place it along the outer half of the eye instead of the entire eye, and that way I'm just wearing lashes from like here to here. It adds the length that I need, the length that I want, and it just gives that overall more like glam look. But I don't have to deal with any of the itching or watery eye that I used to. And I'm going to be wearing these Sister Nature Vegan Mink lashes from Kiss. These are in the shape Ivy, and I'm going to be using their lash glue and liner as well. I should have worked with this along here for the eyeliner, but you know, it's fine. I'll do it next time. Now this is supposed to be a lash glue as well as an eyeliner all in one. They also have a clear formula in case you're not looking for an eyeliner. You just want an easier way to apply the lash glue onto your natural lash line before going in with your false lash. You have that option. Now before going in with lashes, I'm going to apply some mascara. This is the Powerful Mascara from Wonder Skin. I really love what it does to the lashes. It not only lengthens them, but it also adds quite a bit of volume. I always apply 2 coats, and that is more than enough to really give me like that dramatic lash that I'm looking for without lashes. All right, now that we have the mascara, I always manage to get mascara on my lids, no matter what I do. So now I have to wait for that to dry down before I can remove it, which isn't a big deal. It really isn't. Now let's go in with the liner, which is our glue. All right, and we are automatically gonna go right in with the little lash strip. I'm just placing that right on top. I'm going to take my little tool to squeeze these together, combine my false lashes with my real lashes, and make sure that the lash is on the glue so that it holds all day long. So before going back to the eyes and finishing those off, we're going to move on to the base. I'm going to start off with the primer. The one that I'm using for today is the NYX Marshmallow Primer. So just applying this kind of all over the face. I love the feel of this particular primer because it feels more like moisturizer than a primer. So it's very, very nice and light. It blurs, it smooths, it looks great. Now for color corrector, I'm using my Sigma Spectrum Color Correcting Duo in the shade medium to dark. It looks like this. As you can see, this guy gets a lot of love. A lot of love. And I'm actually going to be applying it onto the under eye area with a brush. I'm going in with the Edge Precision brush from Sigma Beauty. This is their P87. It's nice, it's flat, it is dense, it is perfect for the under eye area. So I always grab a little bit of both shades, and of course concentrating it right here along the inner corner and just blending outward. So instead of applying this underneath the entire under eye area, I'm just going in and targeting this where I need it. And that way we end up with less product, which in turn means less creasing, less settling, and it's just gonna make everything look a lot better under the eyes. For foundation, I'm using my LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation. I use the shade MN5. I love how beautiful this makes your skin look without using too much product. It evens everything out. It looks very nice and light. It looks very natural. I'm gonna grab the foundation with my multitasking brush. This is the F47 from Sigma Beauty. Just taking a little bit of that and blending it out. And you see what I mean? It looks so super nice and light. It evens everything out. Your skin still looks like skin, but better. Now for my personal favorite part, concealer. I'm using the Catrice One Drop Weightless Full Coverage Concealer. I've said it, I don't know how many times, they need to expand on this shade range because the formula is so good, especially for the price at just, I believe they're like $7 US each. You get a ton of product. The shade range definitely needs a lot of work because this is such a good formula, such a good formula. I use 2 different shades because the shade with one or the other just by itself just doesn't work for me. 20 is a little bit too light. This is nude beige, and 40, which is camel beige, is a little too deep. So here they are side by side. This is nude beige, camel beige, and half and half. And I'm going to be applying these with a blending brush underneath the eyes. So just again, doing half and half, then taking it from the back of my hand with my blending brush. This is the E25 from Sigma Beauty. And this is how I'm going to control just how much product I'm applying underneath the eyes. So just concentrating most of the product here along the inner corner and then just blending everything out along the edges. So next we must set the under eye area. This is from Oma Beauty. It is their Trippin' Smooth Powder in the shade Light. I love just how finely milled this powder is, this particular powder, because it really gives you that like nice smoothing effect that you want all around the skin. So I just take a little bit of the powder, I place it on the lid, and I've been grabbing it with a powder puff instead of a brush. So just taking a little bit of that, and that is what I am going to press onto the under eye area. Now after that step, I know what you're thinking. The under eye area just doesn't look right. It looks a little yellow. It kind of lost a little bit of the brightness that it had going on. And I've got just the remedy. The Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder, okay? This stuff is magic. So I just grab a little bit of that with the same powder puff that I used to apply the setting powder. And I'm gonna just stamp it onto the under eye area, right where I feel like it needs a little help brightening up. And there it is, bright. She is no longer yellow underneath the eyes. All right, so now we can go back to the eyes to finish those off. And I do want to apply a really nice bright waterline. So I'm taking this gold liner. This is from Flower Beauty in the shade Smoky Topaz. And this is what I'm going to use along the waterline. So just looking down and dragging this back and forth. Her eyeliner formulas are so buttery, so creamy. They glide on without an issue. Next, using my detail blending brush, this is the E27 from Sigma Beauty, I'm going to grab our little mini palette. I'm going to grab the deepest shade from the palette and mix in a little bit of the lightest shade with it. So I'm taking both, tapping off the excess, and this I will be running back and forth along the lower lash line. It's going to create a really subtle, like smoky look under the eyes. Now, if you want it to be a bit more dramatic, then you grab a little bit less of the lighter shade and a little bit more of the deeper shade. If you want it to be very, very, very subtle, then you barely grab any of the deep shade. I always tell you guys, I don't feel like a look is complete unless I apply eyeshadow onto my lower lash line. When I don't do that, this look just doesn't feel complete to me at all. The last thing that I'm going to do is take the lightest shimmer shade from the palette. I'm going to pop a little bit of this here along the inner corner. I'm also going to take a tiny bit of that and pop it here along the brow bone. And then just a little bit of mascara along the lower lashes. Now for the face, I'm taking my Sculpt palette from Sigma. This is the highlight and contour palette. I'm going to grab a little bit of Faking It using my multitasker brush. And I mainly focus the product right here so that I know exactly where it is and therefore exactly where I'll be placing it. So I just press down very lightly here along the hollow of the cheek, but I go a little bit higher. And that way I could just blend this going up like that. Then I clean off my brush a little bit and just blend out the edges. And then taking the tiniest bit of this bronzing shade, which is called Throw Shade, I'm just pressing my brush one time, no more. And I will lightly start to pat this where I want it along the face, and then apply a little bit more pressure and a little bit more pressure and a lot more pressure to blend it out. Now for blush, I'm going with my Moon Prism blush palette from Lunar Beauty, and I'm going to take the shade Gravity, the deepest shade in this blush palette. Again, just one time with the same brush. Oh, you do not need a whole lot. Look at this. It's such a beautiful shade. All right, and then finishing off the cheeks with the Pure Nude highlighter from Essence. This is in the shade Be My Highlight. It's a very subtle highlighter, but you can still, it still makes a statement. All right, and now the only thing left to do, the lips. Now for lips, I'm going to line my lips first because I am using a liquid lipstick. I'm lining my lips with this LA Girl Shockwave Nude Lip Liner. This is in the shade Karma. It is a beautiful, beautiful red, but it's kind of like a berry red. It's not a true, like a universal red. Definitely has a lot of blue in it, which is totally fine because when you get a red lipstick shade that has a blue undertone, your teeth are going to look so white, so white. All right, so we're going to go in with a very, very deep red. This is going to completely cover up this particular shade, which is fine. The reason why I love applying a lip liner before a liquid lipstick is to keep me in line, like to keep me within the lines. That's primarily why I use it. I don't always use it, but when it is something this deep, I need a little bit of help. And this is the Stunna Lip Paint in the shade Underdog from Fenty Beauty, which I love this shade. I love it a lot. And there it is. Tell me this shade isn't gorgeous. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finishing it off with a little bit of my soft focus setting spray. And we're done. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's makeup tutorial and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram. I'm going to be sharing some more like outfit ideas over there, perhaps a couple more like really quick mini tutorials through reels over there. So if you haven't done so already, make sure that you go ahead and give me a follow over there, subscribe here, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.